Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network, and I got a simple question for you. Are you ready for this? How about this? Don't know? Hit this QR code and take the quiz. I'll wait. Get it? Get it? Grab it? Got it. On the next BlackBeardLogic podcast, I'll be discussing preparedness with my good friend Charlene Nelson. She's going to give us the rundown on what you need to do to get yourself prepared for all of those that could never happen scenarios. What's your 72-hour plan? I'll give you the 9 items that I think are essential to your bug-out bag. That is water, food, fire, shelter, medical, tools, comms, nabs, cash, and most importantly, protection. The brutal truth is, if you can't run with it, climb with it, or hump it 10 miles without crying, then your bug-out bag is trash. Light is life. Keep it lean, keep it mean, keep it moving. I'll be discussing these and other issues on the very next episode of BlackBeardLogic, Guns in the 701 Network, with my good friend Charlene Nelson. Stay tuned. Good evening, folks. Leon Francis, your host tonight, BlackBeardLogic, Guns, and the 701 Network. Happy to be here with you guys. Man, it has been a long day. Working, picking up a car from Fargo, driving it back out to the country, trying to diagnose different things on it. There simply is not enough time in the day. But anyway, later on in the show, we ended up going to Fargo for the first ever freeze out for Fisher House. I was on Todd Mitchell, K-Fire this morning, KYFR, that's what it is. This morning, talking about it. I released that first promo that you saw before the show started a couple days ago, and basically a bunch of good folks, good veterans, and they ride all over. They're a motorcycle association, and they're combat vets. All of these vets, basically you have to have combat experience to be a part of the association, and what they do is they raise awareness for issues in the veteran community. And so my good friend Tom Krabanoff, who's a beast of a dude, and he has a pretty boisterous beard also. So he put together this event. It was a huge success. We're going to talk about that. It's freeze out for Fisher House. If you don't know what Fisher House is, it is something like a Ronald McDonald House. It serves basically 3 states, North Dakota, 18 counties in Minnesota, and South Dakota. And basically what it is, if you're a veteran and you have to come to the VA for, I don't know, some type of in-house treatment, and you need the support of your loved ones, your family, what they do is basically they have this facility there, and it's housing. It's housing that is free for veterans' families, so they can be there when their loved one needs them the most. And I just thought that was awesome. I love veteran causes, because a lot of times, and I've said this 100 million times if I've said it once, a lot of times our veterans get kind of left by the wayside, and I don't see that as fair or right. So whenever I see a good veterans cause like this, I want to jump in with both feet. And so me and Eli and my camera woman, my wife Nicole, we went and we just kind of spent a little bit of time over at the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association HQ, and I have that in. I posted it about an hour ago, but I also have that in the rotation, so I'll play that later in the show. The crux of the show, though, is this: what a lot of folks ask me, especially not so much now, but in the prior administration, because everything looked bad. And if you're like me, you're reading the tea leaves, you're shaking the jar, you're like, ugh, things could get pretty sticky. And so a lot of folks start to prep and they don't know how. I cannot tell you how many times people, good friends of mine, reach out to me and go, hey, what do you do if X, Y, and Z? Like we had a tornado come through Enderlin, basically tear the place up last year, and we were out of power for, I want to say, 4 days. What do you do in a situation like that? Well, I'll tell you, you're going to suffer. If you're prepared, you're going to suffer a little bit. If you're not prepared, you're going to suffer a lot. Thankfully, I'm a prepper, so I was prepared, generators, food, all of that good stuff. But a lot of folks don't even know where to start with their prepping and survival. So we're going to talk about TEOTWAWKI, which is the end of the world as we know it, or, stuff hitting the fan, that scenario. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, what you need to do to get ready for a big emergency or a small emergency. Like every emergency doesn't have to be the end of the world. It doesn't. But and I feel, and I hope I don't sound chauvinistic when I say this, and I'm positive with this crowd I won't, but I feel like as a man, you kind of want to be prepared. I want to, in any scenario, be ready to protect and provide for my family. And in a survival situation, if I am on the road, as I am a lot, I need to be able to get back here to my family to see that they are protected and cared for. So, what do I take with me? What do I do to, uh, ca- catastrophe or disaster proof my home and my lifestyle and that sort of thing? And that's what we're going to talk with Charlene Nelson about at 6:30. Before, oh, I'm looking at my comments here, and yeah, you always get these bots that troll you and want to promote you and all that stuff. So there you go. I hate that stuff. Uh, Clay has a deal where he can just nix those guys. I got to figure that thing out. Um, One shot cap, yeah, go Vets, man. I'm right there. Have storage caches out and about, 100%, Dan. Um, yeah, I we're going to talk to Charlene. So hopefully you guys all took the quiz, right? Like in the post that I posted to my social media, I had the quiz up there. So you take the QR code and you take a picture of it. It sends you to this quiz, and when Charlene comes on, she's going to have her website information, and it is a host of information. If you want to start a garden that you can use in like when it comes to crunch time, she's got that. If you just want to start a garden, she's got that. She's got what you need in your cellar, power needs, all of that kind of thing. That's kind of her niche. So we're going to talk to her about that. When I first got started in the whole prepper space, David, good evening, brother. When I first got started in the whole prepper space, I was kind of like, all right, what do I need? And I'm just going through a list of things in my mind, and a lot of times it can come off as overwhelming because you realize once you really start digging down and thinking about it, how much you need. And the best part about that is, you can start now and build. Like you want to have a go bag. Like I have several, but the one that I take with me is not my bug out bag, my bob bag. It's my bug in bag. It's the bag that I take with me to get me back home so I can protect and provide for my family. And so really that's kind of where I lived for a minute until I started thinking broader. I started thinking about, you know, we do live in North Dakota. It tends to get pretty cold here, you know. On occasion, it gets cold here. And what do you do when power lines snap, or like when the once in 100 year thing happens, and it is catastrophic. It's devastating for the existing infrastructure. Like, I don't know if you know this, but when that tornado came through, it took the cellular out completely because it ripped down the tower. It snapped the electrical poles like they were toothpicks. So we had no power and we had no comms. So what do? We're going to talk to Charlene about that, and hopefully you get something good out of it, and you can, if you haven't started already. And I have a good mind that a lot of the folks that listen to me probably have some idea of preparedness. They're in some stage of preparedness. Like I took the test, Charlene's test, and I was lacking in a couple of areas. And I could show you my cellar. It's I got ammo. I got like I'm good to go for quite some time, and I was lacking in a couple of areas because, and I think a lot of it is, I don't think like Charlene. Charlene, and this is the good thing about the way God created us. He created guys to think a certain way and gals to think another way, and they complement each other. We all know that. Liberals don't know that, but we know that. But Charlene has, she's thinking from a woman's perspective. My perspective is got to get the guns, got to get the ammo, got to get the medical, just in case I get injured and I got to patch myself up. What do I have? Super glue and duct tape and that sort of thing. And my go bag is pretty much that. It's a uh, protect and defend type go bag, but like a couple of the things that Charlene mentioned, and we're going to talk about it here on the show later. You know, uh, what if you have to Pete and Paul it, hoof it back home? You got some dry clothes in there. Nah, I got ammo. You see, you got socks. Oh, didn't think about that. I got knives. I got fire. I got grits. you know, because they're freeze dried. I can put them in little packs. I got creatine just in case it's a couple days that I have to be on my feet and just go, go, go. I got my blue methylene, keep my mind clear. I got, but certain things you miss, and it's simply because of who you are. Yeah, printed knowledge is important, 100%. Apothecary and food preservation books. Good point. And like a lot of folks I've seen, like, and these guys, they're veterans, a lot of them, but they are go go go. And so you look at their bug out bag or their bug in bag, and it's got all this stuff in it, all this stuff. I'm ready to go. I just throw it in the truck and I'm ready to go. And then my question to them is, what if you don't have access to your truck? Like on my truck, if you're familiar with EMPs, that's electromagnetic burst. It's what happens when they drop a nuke, and it takes out all the electronics, like within I forget how big an area, but it's a pretty wide area. Well, China and Russia, and us, as a matter of fact, we used this when we took out Maduro. When we went into Iraq and Afghanistan, we, we nuked all of their infrastructure for electricity. What happens when that happens and you have to walk? You have to hike. You have to do what you need to do to get back to the house. Well, all that gear is going to be somebody else's because you're not going to be able to pack it out there. Light is life. You have, yeah, you're right. United, we stand, divided, we fall. It would be back to the Stone Ages and the zombie apocalypse would happen. 100%. And if you are in the city, oh my God, get out of the city. First things first, get out of the city. And I'm not making light of it, nor do I want it doom and gloom and all of that stuff. But what I want to impress upon you is being prepared and not making it this huge burden to be prepared. Like with me, I'm an IT guy, so I like tech. So I have my RAV comms, which basically work on a SIM card network. So anywhere I am, anywhere I can get a hold of Nick. If the cellular goes down or whatever, I also have standard radio, and I also, wherever I go, I carry pen, paper, a map. Got to have a map. So low tech, old school, low tech. You want that. You need that, just in case everything goes out. Uh, Another great example of this is like I trained my son to shoot iron sights first before we move to scopes. That's how I learned. Because I want him to have that default, that I want him to have that old tech, that low tech under his belt, and I want him to be proficient with that tech, just in case, you know, your battery's gone, or EMP, or something to that effect. So we're going to talk about all that with Charlene. I don't know why I'm digging into it right now, but if there's a question that you guys have for me before, yeah, iron sights, single shot, make it count, 100%. Scope goes bad, drop the gun. Iron sights are a must. On that rifle that I have back there, the one on this side, I have iron sights and reticle. The one in my truck, iron sights only, because I figure if I have to pull that thing out, it's going to be close quarters or whatever. But like on that one with that big scope there, that can see out to 700 yards, I have the offsets, iron sights offsets. So if that thing goes down, I can just cant it and keep plugging away, if you know what I mean. And I'm sure you do. Yeah, iron sight, single shot. Yeah, that's one thing about my good buddy Bob Wheeler moving down to Arizona, and God love him, and God bless him and his newfound love, and I hope he's happy. But one of the things that we had planned to do this summer was he was going to dial me in because he's a Marine. Let's go. And then he found love, and love does what love does to men anyway. I couldn't be happy. I got to get him back on here, as a matter of fact. Another thing that you want to make sure, like I have an 8-year-old son, you want to make sure that he's comfortable, eating food that isn't in a shiny wrapper that comes from the store. Like me, I'll eat a squirrel. I got no qualms about it. I find a good size bunny rabbit out there. It's chicken fried backstraps, buddy. I'm just saying. You want to make sure that your kids, you wish you could post memes. I bet you do, Dan. Sit on your hands, brother. But you want to make sure that they're comfortable and they understand, they know and understand where their food comes from. That's a big thing. You don't want to be fighting with your kids when it's crunch time and they're looking at their food like, what is this? You want to get them comfortable cooking outside on charcoal, like great or none, like just right on the coals, that sort of thing. You don't want them. You want their gag reflex to be zero. And that's another thing I like about Eli. He'll gut a duck like it's nothing. So there you go. How about items barter with? Absolutely. It's one of the reasons why I have a ton of ammo that I never use because I don't own that caliber firearm is exactly that. Like and my good friend Jamie Breck is going to give me crap about this, but I'm not a 380 guy. I don't like the snap. I don't like the bark. I don't think they're big enough for my hands, and I don't have huge hands. Look at these things, but I don't like the slide bite on them because it's just too small a gun. I don't like it, but I have 380 ammo. I got tons of 22. I got like because you want to be able to barter. Like, and in my bag, I also have, uh, uh, well, I'm not going to say too much, but I have barterable items and currency in different denomination: booze, guns, and ammo, and medical supplies. 100%. Oh, yeah, smokes too. Probably not so much now, Dan. Everybody's weird about tobacco and whatnot, but you never know. Yeah, that's another good one. You want those barterable items so you can in case and one of the issues that I have with Bitcoin is exactly that. All this cryptocurrency. I remember the trucker strike in Canada. And I remember me saying this exact same thing to a ton of my friends. Like you can't like in a prepping situation, a survival situation, what you don't want to do is be relying on going to an ATM machine or computers or anything that is high tech. Because if it's high tech, it means it can be hacked, it can be controlled. Like you can stick a ton of your resources into cryptocurrency and, you know, the end of the world as we know it happens and you don't have access to any of it. It's one of the reasons why I don't buy gold and let them hold it wherever they have it. No, if I buy gold, I got to have it in my hands. I'm not, because what's the point? And my mindset is what what I need, I'll need it now. I'm not gonna like. Obviously, I have stocks. Portfolios and all that stuff. Get to know a blacksmith. Yeah, I know a couple. As a matter of fact, I know a bunch of kids, and I have a good friend of mine who's going to teach my son. That is a very good trade that you definitely want to have. You want to have a friend that knows how to make a good knife or horseshoes or pretty much anything. Like if we don't know, like I heard this scenario from this army sniper, and he was telling me how. Well, he wasn't telling me. He was on his podcast, and what he was talking about was how not decrepit but vulnerable our grid is, and that one of his biggest fears was China doing to us what we did to like Iraq. You go when we went into Iraq, we hit key points that took their grid offline completely. Now they already had a iffy grid, but think about it. Keep your crypto in an offline hard wallet. No one can access it, but you absolutely. But are you going to be able to access it if everything falls off the rails? That's the thing, and that's my thing there. Yeah, I have a wallet. Not going to get into it, but I know what you mean. But that's not my. I do things like that because I like to have diversity in my portfolios. And I like financial diversity. But trust me, I'm not counting on that. That stuff will be a distant memory until everything gets back online and that sort of thing. But anyway, I've been yammering on here, and I'm looking at the time. I did not hit my first break, and Charlene's going to be here in just a bit. So actually, in about 5 minutes, we're going to start chopping it up with Charlene. So what I'm going to do now is hit that first segment, comms, and then we will be right back with Charlene Nelson right after this break. Leon Francis, Guns, and the 701, and you good folks. We'll be right back right after this break.
Hey, it's Leon Francis from BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 network. I'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
Flower Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Come on, no.
Welcome back. It's Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 network. Let's get it. And we're back. And here's Charlene. Hey, Charlene, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Oh, I am pretty good. Thanks, One Shot. We've been on here just kind of chopping it up a little bit about different level of preparedness, and I know you're gonna come on and embarrass me.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, thank you for that.
The scores are confidential, so.
Right, the scores are confident. So I already had like anyone that hadn't already when I posted that my post and I had the QR code and all of that. I directed them to that. Take the test. I was not I was kind of disappointed in myself, but we kind of went over the fact that men and women have different gifts.
Yep.
And I'm like, guns and knives and maybe a couple of medicals, a couple Band-Aids, some duct tape, that sort of thing. And you're like, yeah, but what if you have to walk and, your clothes get wet? You got to change clothes, that sort of. So I'm gonna take a couple of steps back, and I'm gonna ask you, what do you want to start with today?
Well, do we want to review the 72-hour plan? I know we talked about that a little bit last time. Just like to know, how did you do with it? Do you have your 72-hour plan fleshed out? And
Oh yeah,
okay.
72 hours. I got that all day.
Okay. Well, good. And everyone in the family has their own backpack or kit or whatever that they grab as soon as you have to evacuate or whatever. Okay.
100%.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
We all, and our bags are different. Mine is more, and I think I may have told you this before. My bag is more. Here, I'm going to do something with these windows because they are looking a little weird here. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Anyway, my bag is more of a defend and protect type bag, and here I'm gonna try something. Good gravy. Way too many controls here on this. And I thought putting it on this big screen here was going to be better, but now I'm going to take this away and do that.
There we go.
That's better. Okay. Even though I still look a little weird here. Why am I? 1 second. Yeah, that wasn't any better.
It's just you on the opposite side of the room.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. So there we go. We're just gonna do this. Anyway, so my bag is more of a defender bag, even though I do have elements of all the bags in there, but in smaller quantities. And then Eli is more conducive of a homeschooled 8-year-old. And if you know what I mean by that, you know what I mean by
Yeah,
that. You know.
exactly. And actually, that's probably a good place to start is, okay, you have your 72-hour plan. What are you going to do? The first 3 days are usually the crisis days when there's a disaster of some sort, say a tornado or whatever. Yeah, there you go. Winter storm, whatever. So your 72-hour kit is designed to get you through those 3 days.
Sure.
And obviously, like you said, men and women have different gifts, different focuses. Yours is defense, perhaps some first aid, um, that kind of thing. Your wife, her 72-hour kit will probably focus more on food and sanitation. So your shampoo and toothpaste and that kind of thing. And then yes, your young child, depending on the age of your child, they'll want to have their own socks and clothes and so forth. But maybe there's a toy or a little game or book that you want to keep in that bag to sort of entertain and keep them occupied, so that they're not panicking along with everybody else. So yeah, everyone's kit looks different depending on what their focus is, what their concerns are, what their family needs.
When you talk to people, what do you find like? And say you talk to me, and I'm like this hardcore prepper, and we start chopping it up, and you start asking me questions, and I start thinking, oh wait a minute, what those? Oh wait a minute, I don't have that moment.
Yeah,
When you talk to someone like me, what are the biggest ones that they're missing?
someone like you,
Yeah.
I would think the details. Like, have you thought of what specific medications your family needs? You wear glasses. Do you have an extra pair of glasses? Do you have a repair kit to fix your glasses if something were to happen? So little details like that, I think, get lost a lot of times. Um, I think it's a lot of preppers, and again, especially men, this is kind of the way men think. Um, Focus on the dangers, on the really big things that might happen. And that is something to be concerned about. I don't want to discount that. But most of the disasters, even in a big disaster, most of the really inconvenient things we face are the small day to day, every little thing that we do just to conduct our normal lives, brushing your teeth, keeping your dishes clean. Can you cook a hot meal? Those kinds of things. Those are the smaller details that sometimes when we think of, this great big mega disaster, we forget about just the everyday kind of stuff.
So are you talking more about like your house or like in my bug-in bag, I have like creatine, I have grits, I have fire, I have water, I have like a full trauma kit. It's scaled down, obviously, bleed stop. Needle and thread, super glue, things like that.
Excellent.
Ivermectin. I have water tablets, and I also have 2 aqua straws, and things like and I have like ponchos, a couple of ponchos. I have a tarp that's about, I want to say 10 feet by 10, all, and it collapses down really easy. It's like less than that thick, about that wide, just slides right down into the backpack. So my backpack is pretty light. And obviously, I have a primary and a secondary weapon and ammo in there because I'm trying to get back here. Now I have a base layer in there and socks because of Charlene. Because if I'm hoofing it back, I don't want blisters, I don't want wet feet, I don't want wet clothes, and that sort of thing.
Right.
And I have a couple of other things that I took out. I don't need this fishing kit deal. That I don't need the handsaw. I don't need like all of this other ancillary stuff. The basic things that guys don't think about.
Hmm.
Like and it's true what you said. We think big picture. Oh, what if I come across this creek and I need a fish and blah 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 and this and that, and what if I need that extra block of tannerite to
Right.
blow up a car to get off the bridge? We don't. You don't need any of that.
Yeah.
But the things that you do need, you really do need them.
Right. Well, and I think you made a really good point in your promo video that you made earlier this week. If it's so heavy that you can't carry it, if if you can't walk briskly for 5 miles carrying that pack, you got to pare it down. You got to
Yep.
go to the essentials. You also need to think, okay, first of all, you can't plan for everything. It's impossible.
Yep.
Okay. So do we plan for the things that are the most dramatic, the most impactful, the most devastating? Or do we plan for the things that are most likely to occur?
Mm.
Because remember, any disaster, any crisis, no matter how big or little, has the potential for becoming a full-blown disaster if you're not prepared.
Right.
Okay? A winter storm, a flat tire is no big deal. Unless you're in the middle of a blizzard and you don't have a spare tire.
Mm.
Now it's a disaster, right? You
Facts.
made a little thing become a big thing.
Mm.
So let's look at the little things that happen every single day. First aid kit. That's a great place to start.
Yep.
When you're under crisis, what's your first need? Food, shelter, warmth. Okay? You got those covered? You're great. What are the secondary things you need to worry about? You need to worry about communication.
Mm.
You need to worry about sanitation. And then
Well,
trust me, in a crisis, sanitation is a big thing.
yeah.
I mean, disease, you don't want an infection. Again,
Right.
this little tiny paper cut to become gangrene,
Yeah.
So that's kind of your secondary things, is sanitation and communication, and maybe start looking at things, especially if you have children. How are we going to keep the children focused? How are we going to keep them on task? Or we don't want the kids to be so consumed with anxiety or fear.
Well, that's obvious. You just yell at them, right?
That works. Yeah, try that. So anyway, so those are kind of the secondary things. And then yes, you can get way deeper in that. You can get your fishing lines and your
Now we're talking.
Yeah. And if you have the weight, the space for it, and it doesn't add that much to the weight of your pack, you're great. Do it. I say put whatever in there that you want.
Well, I'm of the mind that I'm trying. So my mindset when I pack my packs out, and the way I do it, like if I'm in the middle of revising packs or rotating things out or something like that, I have these little American flags. And if I take the flag off and something happens and and I'm not here and she runs downstairs to grab a pack, she knows not to take the one without the flag on it because those are not complete. But
Okay.
but when I pack my pack, and I repacked it after I spoke with you like a couple of weeks ago, because what I do want is, again, had a bunch of stuff in there that I would never need. So I pared it down, and I figured that I should be able to briskly hike 10 miles, no problem, with that pack. And and I'm covered with food, with fire, with shelter, with protection, and that sort of thing. When I get back home, though, and we talked a little bit about this before you came on. When I started this whole prepper mindset, it was overwhelming. Like once you start thinking about it, what if X, Y, and Z, and then we had that tornado come through, and you see exactly how your life can go from comfort and watching TV and Netflixing and chilling to, oh crap, what are we gonna eat? type deal. Oh, we can't just go over to the stove and turn it on because it's an electric range. We got no heat in here. What are we going to do? That sort of thing.
Yep.
So, what I want to do now is I want to kind of, and I have a slide here, and I want you to kind of walk us through. We kind of touched on this a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about the 3-day plan. Now, and one thing I wanted to say, and it's in that first chart, like what are we planning for? And is this something, and it depends on where you're at. Now I know your focus is how do I get home during a disaster? Let's say I'm out on the road, I'm in cargo or something. How do I get home to my family? And so that's going to be the focus of your kit. But what if you have to leave because it's a tornado or a house fire or something like that? So you're going to have a kit that gets you out and toward and to safety. And this is something that, let's not overthink this. Let's make this simple.
Mm.
I say there's 4 parts to your emergency or your 3-day kit: food and water, shelter, warmth and shelter, and that includes your extra pair of socks and a coat, a blanket, whatever, a tarp, that kind of thing. Sanitation, so that's your soap, toothpaste, toothbrush, whatever you want, alcohol swabs, things like that. And then miscellaneous, which is things like you should have your important documents on a thumb drive.
Sure.
You should have some cash on hand. Just kind of things like that. Again, like I mentioned, if you have glasses, you'll want an extra pair of glasses. All those, if you have contacts, you'll want contact solution, those types of things. Don't overthink it. Most of this stuff you probably already have around the house. Maybe you need to buy a couple extras, or maybe you want some travel size, soap or whatever. So go to the dollar store and pick up, little packets of food or whatever, ready to eat food. And then go to the thrift store and pick up a backpack or a small carry-on size suitcase. And you're ready. Today's Friday. By Monday evening, everyone listening to this, if they don't already have it, could have their 3-day pack and their 3-day plan already in place. Once you get to that, that's going to get you through the worst of any crisis.
Yep.
Then we start looking at the 3-month plan. And this is where you have a lot of moving parts. It focuses mostly on food, water, and medication, sanitation, non-food type items. But it can get kind of overwhelming. So that's where I've broken it down into 10 steps to help you kind of get towards that 3-month plan. We don't want this to be something that you go out and you spend $5,000 on a, ready-made kit of food and water, whatever, from disasterreadiness.com, or whatever. Yep. You can do that, but this needs to be something that you integrate into all your thinking.
Yep.
Because if you just go out and buy that food and stick it in the garage and never think about it at all until the tornado strikes or whatever, the disaster comes, do you know how to use that food? Do you even like it? Have you tasted it?
Yeah.
Do you have the tools to, for example, you'll have wheat. If you buy these big packs from these disaster readiness stores, they'll give you a lot of wheat. How many know how to use wheat? Do you have the tools, the equipment to use wheat in your cooking and food preparation?
Yeah.
Things like that. And so we break it down into little steps. And the big thing about the food is just a 3-month supply of food. And for the most part, it should be food that you eat every day anyway. Yeah. And so you're going to rotate. What you're going to do is you're going to have a pantry that's like super stocked pantry. And so it's going to have all the muffin mixes and the spaghetti noodles and the canned spaghetti sauce that you eat every week. But you're going to have a 3-month supply of that. And then when something goes on sale, you replenish it. But you keep pulling out and using it as you go. And then you replenish it periodically, once a month, once a week, whatever, so that you're constantly rotating through this food, this dish soap, shampoo, all of the different things that you want to stockpile for a 3-month long type crisis. And that should be 90% of your focus for the next year, is just acquiring that supply and learning how to keep an inventory and learning how to rotate through it all so that nothing, you don't want to walk into your pantry one day and see all the spaghetti has been half eaten by the mice,
Yeah.
Or that moths or bugs have gotten into your flour and sugar,
Yeah.
So you need to constantly keep on top of it and keep an idea of what's going on with your big pantry. Is it, is everything rotated and up to date? Is everything, packaged well so it's not subject to humidity or pests or whatever. And then after you've done that, you can start working towards the 1-year plan, which is one of self-sufficiency, where you're producing your own food, you're preserving food, you're canning, drying, whatever, food from the garden, or the meat that you go hunt or whatever.
So here, I want to take a step back. So we're talking about again, folks that are not in that prepper space. Say me and Nick, we're 20 years old again. We're living in an apartment in the city. Um, but we talked to Charlene Nelson, and she opened our eyes to critical things that we would need to survive. Just in case everything just kind of goes to chaos. What would your advice be to us? Like we're talking to you, and you're talking about weed and food and a pantry and all, and we don't have a ton of money, and we're thinking like, wow, this is overwhelming. Like,
Right.
how do I even start? Break that down for me.
Okay, here's what I tell you. First of all, I have a son who just graduated a year and a half ago or so from college. He's still a single guy. And I tell him, go to Walmart or whoever and buy one of those plastic shelves, those like 5 shelves that stack on the, you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yep.
Stick that in your closet right next to your laundry, washing machine and dryer. And you should have 2 weeks supply of food on that. Of your hamburger helper, your tuna fish, your whatever, you should have a 6-month supply.
Okay.
I mean, a 2-week supply. I tell every college student, you should have a 2-week supply to get you through a job loss, your car breaks down, something happens, you can't get home to mom and dad. You need 2 weeks, a 2-week cushion there.
And that's a good point. When a lot of times when we think about prepping and survivalist that mindset, we're thinking of a nuclear bomb, or we got invaded, or the grid is down, Chinese hackers, all of this. But it could be as simple as I lost my job. What are we gonna do? And if one thing that's off your plate, especially if you're a young guy and you have a young wife and you're just starting out in life, one of the things you're not going to want to do is see her go hungry. And that's a simple thing that you can remedy. You like me, I'm garbage with inventory and rotating things in and out, and keeping up with that kind of stuff. So, and one of Nick's strengths is that.
Exactly.
So
you're a team working on this together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that young couple, it doesn't have to be like overwhelming. Like this is stuff. When I just started putting back a little bit, until I built that first step. And here, I'll put that graphic back up. And this is a good one here. Like the way preparedness in 4 steps. Get that 3-day plan situated first. Then start working on the 3 month.
Yep.
And then just little by little, and you'll see how you can accumulate a lot of things. You're rotating out. So you go to the store, you buy new things, you pull the old ones off the shelf, and you use those, and you streamline it, and it is not overwhelming at all.
And what I tell you is, and I tell all these young couples and single people, you have that one 5 shelf, plastic shelf sitting in your closet. And then when you get married, you add a second one. So now you'll have a 1 month supply.
Mm.
Okay. And then when you have your first child, you put in a third, assuming that you're still living in this apartment, you put in your third shelf, and maybe you'll have to stick that, I don't know, behind the linen closet or something. You have to find a new place to put it, or under the bed or whatever.
It's been a while. I don't know what the kids are doing nowadays. So,
but then eventually you move into your first house, and just set aside a corner of the kitchen, or a corner of the garage. If it's dry goods that aren't going to be harmed by freezing, set some shelves up out in your garage.
Mm.
And I'll tell you this: the Sharpie pen is your friend.
Oh yeah.
Every time you bring something into the house, you date it. You write the date on that thing with your Sharpie pen, so that you have an idea. Okay, hey, I just looked at this. It's closing in on a year old. Let's get rid of it and replace it with something newer, fresher. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit our second break, and when we come back, one of the things that I find that, like, my wife and we like about, like, your website, and you have access to the chat, right? Do you?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good deal. I want you to throw your website into the chat. And all the folks that are watching now, you should visit that website. Charlene has pretty much everything that you could ever want to know. Oh, how do I grow arugula? Right. I don't know. Or how do I can these vegetables out of my garden? That sort of thing. So when we get back, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your website, some of the key points, the key takeaways that you want our viewers to take away from this conversation, especially when it comes to your website and the things that you and I talk about. So we will be right back right after this break. It's Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic, Guns in the 701, and Charlene Nelson, who is sitting in and classing up the joint. Now, if I can just find my controls, this will... Oh, okay. There we go. Look at that.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalen's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalen and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemon, Kalen's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton Lasercraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
This is Leon Francis on BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it.
God, I wish I had moves like that little baby Trump.
Right.
I was kind of neglecting the comment. I thought he said weed for a second. No, it was wheat. It was wheat, Dan. I got to the discussion late. What is your plan for barter and security for long term? So, Murray, if you didn't hear, we discussed this before Charlene joined us. Like with me, I have ammo that, and I don't even use that caliber, but I have it. Just in case, like the 380 and the 22 long and things like that. I have ammo for calibers of firearms that I do not own, and it's specifically for bartering. Also, in my bug out or bug in bag, I have cash. I have a very small amount of gold that I can break off, and I have silver. I also it's always, and I know a good friend of mine, he bought a bunch of, we call them truck guns, like really cheap 9mm handguns. And they're not for his use, they're for barter situations, just in case. And he buys them in bulk. Like this dude, and I'm not going to put his name out there, but he has a lot of them, and that's what they're for. Like all of his family, they have their firearms. He has his. They have a couple extra put by, but these are specifically for bartering purposes. And so I would say that that's a good place. And when you say security for long term, I don't, maybe throw some more details into the chat. If you're talking about security as in protection of like my home front or where we are kind of hunkered down, I'm the security. You're looking at me. Or I have friends who live in Fargo, a couple that live in Jamestown, and if everything goes to crap, they're going to try to make it here, and then we're going to kind of hold down the fort. I think your best security is your network. You know, outside of you just being a phrase that I used earlier today, and I'm going to play a clip of that, but BAMF, outside of you being that guy, then yeah, you're going to need a network of people. And my preparedness, my mindset before everything falls off the rail. That again, that's another branch of my security. That's another arm of my security. Now, I threw this in chat. This is Charlene's website, and
Well,
I'm
hey,
going to.
just a
Okay,
second. I want to go back to that chat, that comment that you just referred to. There's two
sure.
things to keep in mind with that. Okay. Number one, before you start worrying about bartering and protection and all that kind of thing, let's cover the basics. Let's make sure we're ready for the most common of all disasters. How, what kind of disaster would have to occur that you need to barter or that you need to, protect yourself with arms? It could happen. I'm not saying it's not, but it's more likely that you're going to see a tornado.
Yep.
It's more likely that you're going to have a fire at your house or a flood. Are you ready for those? Let's work on, those first few steps, okay? And then the second thing is, you were absolutely right. It's your community, and that's the step 4 of the 4 steps of preparedness,
Mm.
is building that community network that you can rely on later. I don't know how many people have seen the Angel Studios movie Homestead.
Yep. I've seen it.
That's one of the kind of themes that runs throughout it. Do we hunker down and do we, bring out the guns and, start keeping all the outsiders out? Or what do we do when everyone realizes that we've got food and they don't?
Yeah.
No. I think that's an important question, something that you need to discuss. But I think that that's down the road a bit after you've mastered at least steps 1 and 2. And then when you're getting into 3, maybe you can start thinking about that as well.
And see, step 2, learn CPR. I was a nurse, way in a life long ago, a long time ago, and so I was enrolled at Jamestown a couple of months ago to take an EMT course, and right when I was about to go in, couple of weeks, I think, before the class started, the gal there, emailed me and asked me if I had all these shots, and that was a non-starter to me. I'm like, oh, I got to figure this out now, and I told her I'm just going to sit this one out. I'll catch the next one when it rolls around, and that's something I want to talk to you about because if I have to take inoculations that I don't agree with, I'm not doing it. So how do I learn that? How do
Yeah.
I learn those skills without that?
Well, see, and okay, so this is what I want to say is this is why it's so essential that we are self-reliant,
Mm,
because if we can't survive a momentary job loss or, a reduction in our wages, then we're going to be the ones that have to roll up our sleeves and take the shots.
mm,
You know, the best, I mean, if you want to avoid, the forced, uh, the mandated vaccines or the mandated, enrollments and all those different kinds of things, you have to be self-reliant. You have to be able to, you know, s- provide for yourself without having to rely on outside employment or whatever.
100%. And that's something I cannot stress enough. If you are, and I say this all the time, but in a different context, the more reliant you are on government, the less reliant and the less free you are. Because exactly what you just said. If we used to take Eli into the doctor in Fargo, and they'd be asking all these questions: How many guns are in the home?
Right.
Are they under lock and key? Does he have this shot and that shot and this shot? And we're sitting there like, well, no. And I was at I was at in Bismarck. I think I went with you. Yeah, I did go with you. And you know, just standing there and speaking to those guys, and the fact that they don't know that most parents believe that your kid has to have all these inoculations to go to school, and they're they've conditioned us.
Hmm.
You need you need us for this. You need us for that. Why
And
hasn't?
and then they dangle your paycheck in front of you.
Yep. A
So
lot of my wife. I'm not going to get into details because she's going to beat me after this podcast if I do. But well, no, I'll just take me. I was at UPS when the whole COVID thing went down. Now, my job security was I was the network engineer for this entire region. So I am very, very hard to replace. So when they said it's mandatory that you do this thing, I could give them a hard no, and you know,
Yep.
may the good Lord hit you. I mean, may the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you, type deal. But I knew drivers that were horrified. I
Right.
knew salesmen that were horrified,
Right.
and they tried to get religious exemptions and this and that, and these companies just were not having it. They were like, and so they would ask me, "What do you do? What do you do?" Because I walked around proudly. I didn't wear a mask the entire time I was at work, and I'm watching all these people, walk around in mask, and hey, why is Jimmy out? Well, he got the COVID shot, and now he has COVID, and so
And
that
that's
is,
why. And that's why on that quiz that I asked people to take, one of the questions is, are you working to improve your income and job stability, your hireability? Because if you're like Leon Francis and you're essential to them functioning, they're not going to hold that inoculation over your head quite so much because they know they can't survive without you. So, and you know that if they do let you go, hey, I've got 10 other people here who want me even more.
yeah,
So, yeah,
it's a bit of security.
it
Um,
is.
Building your value in a company or building your value in yourself, having a lot of irons in the fire, having a primary skill set and a bunch of secondary skill sets. That's going to help you out in life. That's going to help you out in like home front. Uh, One of the things I talk to friends of mine about is, and my kids, as a matter of fact, I'll just use my kids, is what value do you bring to that community? Is it a value that they will see the value in? Like your degree in African studies and, homosexual frogs, that's, that's not value added to any situation. What do you bring of value to this situation? And in Homefront, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. There were people outside of that fence
Yep.
that didn't have any, that couldn't bring value. And if you don't bring value, you're pulling away resources from the people in that, in that space.
Yep.
And those people are families. They're a community, and they want to survive. You don't build that value, then you're not going to survive.
Mhm.
And I tell my kids that. But anyway, let's I want to go to your website, and I'm going to have you navigate through here.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the screen. I threw the website into chat,
Okay.
but now I'm going to put it on the screen here, and I'm going to share the screen. And I'm going to have you just kind of walk us through this. This is Provident Home Companion,
Yep.
and it is a really good website. So I'm going to just have me navigate through there. I don't know if you have control. See if you have control.
No, I don't.
Okay. Uh, so break this website down for me.
Okay, so just scroll down a little bit, and there's 6 categories, 6 little squares there. And that's just quick, kind of tells you a little about me and also my thoughts about Provident living, about living prepared. Then there's the blog. We'll come back to that in a second. Um, and then the basics. Okay, where do you start? Okay, so there's 4 basics that I have here. There's thank you, gardening, food storage, preparedness, and basic, and then preserving food. So those are the ones that I follow. Those are the 4 categories. So anything you want to know about gardening, there you are. Anything you want to know about just basic preparedness, there it is. Food storage, so forth. Okay. And then let's see, preparedness fair. That's an annual thing, so don't pay too much attention to that right now. Um, then the fifth category is back on the homepage. If we go back.
No, back on the, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
So
all thumbs here.
yeah, scroll down just a little bit. Okay. Then we have recipes. Okay. And what these recipes are a lot of things that use your food storage basics, your dry beans, your wheat, things like that. It has gardening stuff that you can produce in your garden. So this is not going to have Japanese miso, whatever, because
Right.
that's not on the menu. You know, if you're in survival mode, if you're in, you know, we got to keep control of things mode. You know, you want basics. You want the things that you can produce in your kitchen without a whole lot of fuss and bother. So that's the purpose of all the recipes. And then the final, and then if we go back to the homepage, the fifth one I said is preparedness fair. We do that every other year, and I don't think we're doing one this year, but we'll see. We're kind of negotiating things behind the scenes to see if we do one. I'd like to. I think it's time. And then the store. And the store is where I have written a whole bunch of books that just cover one narrow topic. And right now, everything is free. Because right now, I just want everybody to come and get all the information they can off of the blog. So I have here different recipe books for cooking with zucchini, one for cooking with squash. That here, if you'll go back to the top, you were almost there. Go, yeah. That 3-day plan, that little blue one. That's the first one everyone should download, and it helps you map out what your 3-day plan is for your family. And then go back to the main page or the store page. Yeah, scroll down a little bit. There's a book on dehydrating. Scroll down a little bit more. Here's one on using those $5 chickens you get at Costco and making 5 meals. So you get 5 meals for $5. So,
that's awesome.
And then this middle one, getting started. I told you about this. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it. This is my favorite one because this is kind of a workbook formula for mapping out everything you need to do to get that full 3-month or 3-day rather 3-month and 1-year plan into place. And it just takes you step by step through each of those different steps you need to go to get those done. And it has a lot of information articles, has a lot of charts, things like that to kind of use as references. So, and like you said, you know, the whole reason for this website was I am the preparedness specialist for our church, and it covers the whole region, Western Minnesota, Eastern North Dakota, and Northeastern South Dakota. So a really large region that we cover. And I had so many people ask me questions, and it was the same 10, 12 questions all the time. So I just started the blog so that if you have a question, it's here. So, and then we didn't talk about, but these are the different blog categories. So if you want more detailed information on water storage, on keeping yourself healthy during an emergency, self-reliant skills, there's kind of little categories there that you can go through.
Geez, you wrote all these books?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've been busy. I've been doing this for about 17 or 18 years. So,
okay.
So some of this goes back a ways.
Yeah, and there is a host of information here, and I would encourage anyone listening to click on that link and then utilize that link. Go. Charlene is basically giving away the store for right now. I don't know for how long, so I would grab a couple of these books. As a matter of fact, there is a lot of information here.
Yeah.
And you may even see like in the blog area, you might even see a name or two you recognize. I don't.
That's right. You might.
Oh, are you ready to bug out? Oh, I don't. Let me. Yeah, I might have to check that out. Leon
There you
Francis on
are.
generators. What?
There you go. Um, yeah, and also, if you want to get my monthly newsletter, there's a place to sign up and you can get a newsletter. And all the newsletter does is it helps you kind of, again, take baby steps. There's one or two goals or one or two things you can do each month to help you become more, uh, working along that preparedness pathway.
Yeah, so if you want the newsletter, just your name and your email address right there, and you'll be subscribed, and you'll get all the updates, new posts, new recipes, receive a free ebook each month, and Charlene's got a ton of them.
I do.
So, and
I
like
do.
if I were just starting out, like this would be great. Monthly goals, budget wise, like this, I'm horrible here.
Mhm.
This and we've spoken about this, so I'm not talking out of school. This one here, oh my god, oh yeah, that's a problem for me. That's why I got a wife. Is right there, like emergency prep, got it. Gardening, I want to say 75%.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're doing good on a garden.
yeah, I do okay with what I know, like crops that I know, things that I know. Great, but I got to get out of my comfort zone on that. Preserving food. My wife is rapidly becoming a savant with that.
Canning Crow, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%. Water storage, I'm good on that. In the kitchen, throw that to Nick. Food storage, I'm pretty good with that. Nick is better. Skills for self reliance. This is a big one. You
Mhm.
guys are going to want to grab that one. This one right here. And this one, we talked about it, you and I got so wrapped up in work that I did not do the things that I needed to do before it started snowing, and now the earth is all, hard, and I got, yeah, so I gotta, this is a next year goal for me right here,
Yeah.
this one. And Nick, every day I came home, well, every weekend she would be on me about this, and I'll do it next weekend. No, I got to get on that one.
Plenty of next weekends.
Yeah, not so much if you, you know what we're talking about, or what was that acronym at the end of the
Yeah.
world as we know it?
Yeah.
TEOTWAKI or
Yeah.
TEOTWAKI or
Yeah. TEA. No, TETAKWITA, something like that.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. So, Charlene, if there is one thing that you want to leave our viewers with, what would that one thing be?
Start where you are right now. Think about where you want to be. Do you want to be just prepared for the next winter storm, or do you want to be prepared for the end of the world as we know it? And then just break it down into baby steps and just work on one little step each month. And you don't let it over. I'll just say that. Do not become so overwhelmed with this that you just give up or don't get started or whatever. Every little bit that you prepare for is that one less thing that you need to worry about.
Hmm.
And like I said, even the smallest little crisis can become a huge disaster if you're not prepared. So just think about the most common things that you might encounter and then take steps to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I agree. And again, that's basically how I started. When I started, um, outside of my bug out bag, which I look at it now from way back when, and I
It's
think the
different.
first one, yeah, it's much different. I think the one that I originally, I think it was 2 years ago, as a matter of fact, uh, way too heavy,
Yeah,
way too heavy, because I'm thinking I'm gonna just throw it in my truck and take my truck home, but you know,
maybe not.
maybe not. And now I have two bags in there. One to grab and just kind of go, throw it on my back, and the other one is in the ideal scenario that my truck is running, the roads are good, everything is, and I just got to get out. I got that one in the truck. But
Okay.
yeah, you it's kind of a evolution of thinking.
It is.
You start in one mindset, and then the more you dig into it, you evolve,
Yep.
and then you start preparing the way you should prepare. Any amount, and I'll just say this: if you
Exactly.
start today and you go, "Hey, I need to get X, Y, and Z," and you go out and you get it, more power to you.
Yep.
But
That's it. Yeah.
but what I would encourage you to do is to go to Charlene's website, get the steps, and then start. You'll be shocked how easy it is to start implementing. First, start out with that 72-hour bag. Get not or no, I'm not going to say bag. 72-hour. Just looking at your house and see if you're ready for that,
Hmm.
and then build out.
Yeah.
Like me and networks. I look at what you have, I look at what you need, and I build out to suit that need.
Yep.
That's what you should do. You should look at it like a network build out. There you go. That's my little nerd logic in there for you.
Exactly.
Hey, Charlene.
It's something anybody can do. And like you said, even if it's just one thing that you do, you're that much better off.
100%. While I got you here,
Yes.
there's been a lot of hubbub about homeschooling. And it's a lot of it I had to tune out because some of these people are crazy. I mean, I am so glad we homeschool now because the mindset of some of the teachers that I see on some of the homeschool, like, so homeschooling has been a big topic this last week because North Dakota is doing great. Like, people, that whole COVID thing woke a lot of people up, and a lot of folks are like, I'm not sending my kid back to that.
Right.
But a lot of folks are like, well, we can't have this many kids, homeschooled because who's going to check up on them and their welfare and their well-being, and just hair on fire. We need more government regulation to go in for welfare checks and blah, 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 and regulation, and I'm like, I'll give you my take on that, but I want to hear yours so I know if I'm crazy or not. What do you make of all of the new, like, controversy? Is that too strong a word, controversy? Because legislators are talking about this. I've seen them hopping in chat threads and talking about whether or not North Dakota needs more stringent regulations on homeschoolers now.
Right. Well, North Dakota, when we first started homeschooling, and this was 30 some years ago, was the second most regulated, just after New York. We were the second most regulated state. And then just with constant working with our legislators, showing them the results we were getting, eventually, some of the regulations started easing off, and the result is two things. Number one, yes, homeschooling is booming, and COVID plays a good part of that. But also, we're seeing that homeschooled students, the quality of their education is just excelling all other expectations.
Yeah.
When you have a school system such as Fargo, which last I heard, fewer than half of the students in Fargo were in the Fargo Public Schools were proficient in
Yep.
math and reading. Well, the rule is in North Dakota that if a homeschooler falls below 50th percentile, they have to come under the supervision of the schools. Well, who's going to survive or supervise these public school students that are below the 50th percentile?
Yeah.
I mean, the handful of homeschool students that might be falling behind is a fraction, 1/1000th of the kids in public school who are falling behind, and
Yep.
they're doing it while we're paying for them to fail. So
Right.
let's, if the legislature, thinks we need to start, clamping down on first clamp down on the public schools. First,
100.
bring the public schools up to standard, and then we'll talk about homeschools.
What do you say to people out there that think that maybe a homeschool kid isn't getting the attention, or what did I see on that? And I wrote a long response to this, but basically, people are out there trying to say that homeschool parents don't have their kids' best interest at heart, like a school teacher would. And they want like welfare checks and things like that. What do you say to something like that? What do you think about that?
Okay, one of my favorite hearings that I ever attended um, was it was some hearing, state legislature. I can't remember, years and years ago. The public school superintendent, I believe it was, got up to testify and said, "We love these children. We love them every bit as much as their parents do, and we are as concerned as their parents are." And one of the homeschool parents said, "What are my kids' names?"
Mic drop.
Boom.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. No.
Nope.
You didn't go through, 10 hours of labor to bring that kid into the world. And
Right.
you did not stay up countless nights when the kid had a fever. So don't tell me you love that child as much as the parent does and is concerned about the parent. You're not. It's it's metaphysically impossible. So don't even bring that argument to the table.
And one of the comments on there that got the most interaction was that was the opposite of what you just said. Like the way the argument was framed is like parents are abusers, and there's no abuse in the public the public school system. And I'm like, nobody like Eli can get on my nerves 5 ways from Sunday,
Yeah.
but I'll kill a brick for that kid, And his mom would, shove my head through this wall for it. So, like nobody loves your kid like you do. And the fact that the chuckle nuts in the public schools they want every single kid in there, and it's not because they care about it. It's because the dollars follow that kid, and they're not fooling anybody with that argument.
That is an elitist, condescending, patronizing point of view that only a narrow-minded government employee could come up with.
Yep, 100%. And again, if you read my comment, it was lengthy. I kind of tore into the whole. I broke it down piece by piece. But the fact of the matter is, I pulled my kids out of public school because I saw what public schools were, and I saw how. And obviously, I'm an African American male. I saw how they were doing a disservice to my kids and to my race. Um, and I pulled them out, and at great expense. And I'm talking financial, networks, friends, the whole thing, expense to myself. I put them through private school, which I found were okay, but not a ton better.
No.
And and I'm not going to name any names, but there's some things that happen.
For the most part, not all. I won't say this about all, because you're right. There are some good private schools. But for the most part, private schools are just public schools with a cross on the wall.
Yep.
I'm sorry to say it. Most of them use the same curriculum as the public school teachers, as public schools do. And they have the same teaching philosophy that the public schools do.
Yeah, and I'll just throw this out here. Boys learn differently than girls.
Yep.
And when you're sending your boy to a public school, it is not an overstatement to say that they are emasculating your boy.
Yep.
They are.
Well, why is it that most of the boys on medication for ADHD, most of the children on medication for ADHD, 3/4 of them, 80% of them are boys?
Yeah. You know why? It's called testosterone.
It's called overworked, extended teachers that cannot manage boys.
Yeah.
Most of them are women themselves, and they don't know how to manage boys.
That is a very good point. I cannot tell you how many teachers that I have. They couldn't believe that I was up there making a fuss. Like, who are you? Like, you think you're a father or something? And that was offensive to me. But like, and I'll give you this little example. Like, I'm listening to this principal, and this was some years ago. Um, and we were talking about my daughter, and I have high expectations for my kids because, unlike those idiots, I believe my kids are smart. I believe that they are brilliant, and I believe that if you make them buckle down, they will shock and awe you. And
Yes.
I believe that. And they thought that was just too much to put on a kid. And I'm like, do, you don't. One, and I hate to. No, I don't hate to do this. I think that the people that listen to me understand where I'm coming from. I'm a black guy. My culture came through some pretty horrific things
Hmm.
and overcame them.
Hmm.
And education was a boundary, and we broke it. And we had people like Booker T. Washington. Some of the people that I look up to, like even Thurgood Marshall, like who
Yeah.
was a progressive, but you know, you read about his life and what he overcame to get where he was. I mean, uh, my God, and you're telling me that my kid is not capable of a B because of X, Y, and Z. No, they are. And then we got into it, and like me, I am a hands-on father, especially back then. Like I braid my daughter's hair. Like I take care of my kids. I taught them to read at a very young age. I read to them. I'm an
Well,
avid
that's
reader.
dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, and they looked at me like I was a threat. Like it was always hostile when
Well,
I
you
went
weren't
there.
supposed to teach him to read. You know that.
Oh, you think
That's
I
not
don't?
your job, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know. I know. Yeah.
But one of the worst ideas I've ever heard is North Dakota needs to um, tighten the reins on homeschoolers, and I'm like, yeah, this can't be a thing. And the conversation, the thread that I was on, worries me because I believe that some these Democrats are going to try it. And I also believe that there are rhinos out there that they'll kowtow.
Again, elitists, condescending, patronizing, narrow-minded people.
Yeah.
And I'll say it. Once you get the public schools where 90% of the kids are proficient at grade level,
Yeah.
then let's talk about homeschoolers. But until you get there, you have no room. You have no room to talk about what's going on with homeschoolers.
And then you look at these schools that pull the kids out to go protest, and then you have the rainbow jihad running rampant through the schools, and then you look at how many sexual predators that are in the public school system. You look at when government. When a child is a ward of the government, the chances of them being sexually molested or abused just like
Yep.
not just a little bit, skyrocket.
Yep.
That's the government loving your kid.
Yep.
Who would entrust their child to that? Is what I wanted. And I know a lot of folks that are listening have kids in public school. I don't want to scare you, and that's not my intent.
Well, and not only that, everyone has to choose the type of schooling that's best for them and their family. And we have no idea what kind of pressures and other things are put on these parents who have chosen to put their kids in public school. So I don't judge anyone for schooling their kids in the public school. Um,
It's a
but
big
then,
lift. And
yeah,
I'll be the first to say that it means that one of you are going to have to stay home,
yeah,
and it means that one income is going to have to do it. So you're going to have to man up and get it done. And these schools are relentless. They're relentless. I remember when our before Eli, our youngest kid, um, the school up north, we were going to put him back in Oak Grove, but then we were thinking about homeschooling them, and those guys were relentless on, like, they had him basically enrolled already without our knowledge, without our authority in that school for the money. That's all it was. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, I just want people, if you're a parent of a child who's in public school, and I'm not going to for 1 minute judge or criticize how you came to that decision, because that's your decision. And I know that that parent loves their child and wants the best for them. And that's the choice they came up with. Wonderful. Then you need to afford me the exact same consideration.
Right. Teachers, Lynette says, teachers want boys to be zombies so they don't have to deal with the energy. One shot says, right on, Lynette, go sit in the corner and drool. And I've found that to be 100% true. Just an aside, like just a personal story. My sister had 2 girls and then she had a boy. And because she had 2 girls, she had this idea.
She thought she knew what she was doing.
And she was a single mom also.
Yeah.
So she would call me and she'd be like, this kid is bouncing off the walls. He's like 2. I don't even understand how he can do some of the things he does. And this and that. And I told her he needs to get outside. You need to get that kid a father figure, a male in his life to get some of that. Nope. She listened to the preschool. They diagnosed him and they had him on, I don't know what it was. It stunted his growth. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah.
And the second she wised up, and it was years and years and years, and after he had been teased because he was just a runt of a kid, she took him off that medication. He shot up.
Yeah.
Kid bloomed.
Yeah.
And all he needed was, he needed a release of his God-given energy.
Yep.
He didn't need medication to chain him up.
Yeah.
Anyway, let kids be kids, 100%.
Yeah, as you know, I have 3 boys that, and we homeschooled all 3 through, K through 12. And there were days that they were bouncing off the walls, and especially wintertime. And so in the wintertime, it was, when it got to a point where we just weren't getting anywhere with our lessons, then it was, I would say, go put on your coats, boots, go outside, run around the house 10 times.
Yep.
And in the spring, summer, whatever, okay, we got weeding to do out in the garden. We got leaves that need raking, just to have that physical outlet,
Yep.
And once they spent an hour, 2 hours, whatever, concentrating on physical things, they'd come in and they were ready for learning. And I recognize public schools can't do that. They aren't equipped for that. They have one little path that the kids can take, and they can't deviate too far either side of that path. And so, and that's talking not just, behaviorally, but also intellectually, emotionally, all those different areas. If a child deviates too far out of that, they either get lost or they get sidetracked into some novel program. You need to go into this special something or other, program with a para and all this other stuff, when all they are is normal kids.
Yep.
But you have a teacher who's not equipped to handle 15 to 20, 25 normal kids. She's only equipped to handle the kids that go inside that little slot, that little narrow groove.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a sad thing, and I didn't mean to like waylay you with that, but it has been something that's on my mind because I've had a couple of friends of mine who, one of which is in the legislature, another is a representative of the district that I was in, and they're concerned.
Mm-hmm.
They're concerned, and again, I've been on several threads where they're talking about over-regulating or putting some kind of, like, they act like it's the wild, wild west out here. Like, what Eli does is wake up in the morning and sit down and play PlayStation or Xbox all day, and he's not, no, that's not a thing that happens. And, we got to worry about, whether or not he's been abused and all of that. And again, they don't get the concept, and this is a real thing. They don't understand the concept that a parent actually loves that kid enough to want him to be successful in life. They look at the kid as a burden on the parent. That's the way they see it, and they're like, well, there's no way that you can be giving him everything that he needs outside of government. Government gives you.
Yeah, I would say that they look at the parent as an impediment to controlling their child. The
Agree.
parent is the one standing in the way of the government via the public school system having full control of a child.
Yep.
Um,
I think that's why they want them in some type of government program as young as possible. I think that that's why they want all this preschool and mandatory this and mandatory that. It's because they need those kids as young as possible. Not only that, I was concerned when they moved to tablets, and so now Google has this profile on your child.
nope.
Google does, and they sell that information for trillions of dollars, and now they got your kid from this tiny little toddler all the way through pre-K, and they build that profile out, and it is a very, very valuable thing.
And
Not to mention the social engineering.
Yeah.
My God, if you want to manufacture drones and bots, there is no better way to do that than in the public school system.
Yeah.
Or you have a very, very strong home life that can counteract that. But
if you haven't already, or your listeners haven't, look up John Taylor Gatto, Gatto. You've read him, I'm
yes,
guessing. Yes.
yep,
He has an article, and I believe it's called "The 6 Lessons of School," or "The 6 Lessons We Teach," or something along those lines. And that is one of the lessons that's taught. There's all these other lessons that are taught that supersede the math and reading and science and all that other stuff. One of them is a dependence. The child is taught to depend on the teacher to tell him what he needs to know, to tell
yep,
him what the right answers are, to direct all the different aspects of his learning. The child is never taught how to think independent. Now, they say we want to teach these kids how to think and not what to think, but the reality is the way the classroom is constructed, it is designed to make the child dependent. The other thing it does is it teaches the arbitrariness of learning.
yeah,
Because you start off with, let's say, math lesson, at 9 o'clock. At 9:40, boom, close your books. We're going on to history. Doesn't matter if the kid has mastered the concepts. Doesn't matter if he's interested in it, if he wants to learn more. 9:40, it goes away. And then we take out our history books. And just when that kid's getting really into this history, it is 10:15. Boom, close your history books. Now we're going. In other words, learning is not about actually learning or mastering a topic. It's to follow that clock.
yep.
The clock is what rules your learning, not the
Your
actual
time card.
material. Yeah, it's not
That's your
actually
time.
the material. Yeah.
Yeah, and I find that there's no better like, do you really want the government teaching your kids history? Like, do you know how much that I've found out about history that I'm like, I need to go back and sue the public school that that I went to because I didn't learn any of this
Yeah.
in there. You
Yeah.
better believe that Eli has a well-rounded knowledge of history because I'm like, wait a minute, what did that say? Hey, let's take a look at this, and
Yeah.
Tuttle twins, awesome. Like, I came home one day and he was telling me about fiat currency, and I'm like, wait, what? What are we doing? But kids need to have free speech and be free thinkers 100%. You got to teach your kids right from wrong, and what the teacher doesn't need to know. They try to farm home-based info all the time, and don't get me started on that. Get your kids into hunting, and you won't have to hunt for them later in life. 100%. Let kids be kids. Yep.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't mean to waylay you with this, but it's just been something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. I think I asked you, and then I kind of cut in one thing you want folks to take away from our conversation on preparedness before I went off on a tangent.
I think we covered that. We
Okay.
We're good on that. Yeah. Just take baby steps. Take it one step at a time. You're good.
Good deal. That is Charlene Nelson. And seriously, if you like, I talk to Charlene all the time. She keeps me on the even kill, because
As much as possible.
as much as possible. Like Nick gets tired of me, she's like, "Call Charlene." I'm like, "All right." But anyway, if you want that same level-headedness when it comes to surviving and preparedness and all of that, visit our website. I put it in chat. I'll put it in again. I would start with that book. I threw that the link to that book, Getting Started. I threw that in the chat also. I would start with that one, and I would build out.
Well, actually, if I can, I would say start with that quiz.
Oh yeah.
Where you're at right now, and then start doing all these other things. And a year from now, take that quiz again and see how much you've improved.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, the quiz is a really good measurement. And when you feel a little bit overwhelmed, when you feel a little bit maybe sidetracked, that you're kind of getting detoured off into different rabbit holes or whatever, just take the quiz again. And it kind of breaks it down into different categories, and you can see what your strong categories are, which ones are your weak points, and get refocused.
Good deal, Charlene Nelson. Always good to talk with you.
Happy to do it. Yeah, it's great.
Leon Francis, this is Blackbeard. I think I cut you off. What were you?
No, I'm good. Just
okay. Thanks again for hanging out with us. Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic, Guns in the 701 Network. We'll be right back right after this, and I'll show you how me and Eli spent the day today. It was pretty fun. Be right back.
Hey, it's Leon Francis from BlackBeardLogic on the Guns in the 701 Network. I'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Stay tuned.
Anvil Brand LLC, raising and training tomorrow's barrel horses right out of Bismarck, North Dakota. Tracy and her family are great American patriots who not only support the Second Amendment, but they also promoted what you're looking for, top quality barrel horses. Go ahead and give Tracy a call at 701-471-6629 and tell them Guns and 701.com sent you. That's Anvil Brand LLC out of Bismarck, North Dakota.
Coming this weekend to Fargo, the first ever freeze out for Fisher House. Join us February 6th and 7th in the West Acres Mall parking lot in North Fargo as our community comes together to support something truly special. Fisher House, North Dakota. This brand new home away from home will give families of veterans receiving care at the Fargo VA healthcare system a free, comfortable place to stay. No cost to them. 13,000 square foot facility, 16 suites serving the entire state of North Dakota, 18 counties in Minnesota, and 1 in South Dakota, and projected to help over 23,000 family members every year. It's more than a building, folks. It is hope. It is comfort, and it is support for those who have served our country and the loved ones by their sides. Freeze Out kicks off Friday, 9 a.m. with a powerful moment. A 150-foot crane raising the old stars and stripes alongside the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association flag. Then swing by for our drive-thru coffee and cookie event, grab a warm drink, learn more about Fisher House, and chat with volunteers dedicating their time to make this thing happen. And yes, brave veterans will be sleeping outside for 48 hours in the cold, no fancy tent for some, just to raise awareness and show the real need. This is a year-round mission. It needs your support. Veterans and their families deserve to stay close during tough times. Fargo Moorhead, we are lucky to live in a community that steps up for our heroes. Come out, show your support, donate, or just say thanks. Freeze out for Fisher House, because when our veterans face challenges, their families shouldn't face them alone. February 6th and 7th, West Acres Mall parking lot. Be there. For more information, visit the Fisher House North Dakota page or check West Acres events. Let's warm hearts in the cold.
At Horton Laser Craft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton Lasercraft makes every moment unforgettable. Visit HortonLasercraft.com today and start crafting your perfect gift. For more info, email them at HortonLasercraft@yahoo.com or call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton Lasercraft, where memories are engraved.
T-shirts tucked in, know my worth, can't tell me nothing. White Nikes, albino, can cop my stilo, head to the top, bottom line is a motto.
Welcome back. It's Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me and Charlene for a bit. So the second commercial in that block there was the Fisher House commercial, promotion. And so if you didn't have a chance to get to Fargo today, West Acres Mall, you'll see like they have the coolest fish house you ever wanted to see. And they have the tents out there and everything. Hopefully it's not as cold as it was today. Tomorrow, I got to go check on my buddy Tom Krabanoff. But I made a video of me and Eli kind of going there, hanging out with them, doing some things. It was pretty cool, pretty fun. So I'm gonna play that video now. I hope you enjoy it, as me and Eli absolutely did. Eli likes anything where he can eat. So he's 8, he's growing. They offer him a sandwich. You got a good friend for life with that kid. But here goes.
BAMF. That's his title. BAMF. Really? Don't Eddie Murphy? You got it right. I got young ears in here. I can't. Right, there you go.
Okay. Got it. I'm too soft now. And look at this body. It takes me a half hour to do a combat roll.
BlackBeardLogic, and this is my buddy Tom Krabanoff, and he is with
Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association.
And what are we doing here, Tom?
We are freezing for the Fisher House.
Freezing for a reason?
That's another program, but I am the architect of that one, so we can talk about that one. But yeah, this is going to be much bigger and better than anything previously done. So it's freeze out for the Fisher House, and the Fisher House are they work in charity. And I'd like to introduce our chapter commander, Danny. And BB, our XO. So Yeah, and the unique thing about the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, every single one of us has served in a combat zone for at least 31 days.
Okay.
So we all have that brotherhood, that common core, and it's a great, best organization I ever belonged with. And we have chapters in Fargo, Grand Forks, Minot, and detachment in Bismarck. So we're up and moving around.
So when we're talking about the Fisher House, how many states? How big is it going to be? Who is it catering towards? And
that's a great question. Fisher House is for all of North Dakota, not just the Red River Valley, all of North Dakota. So anybody anywhere in North Dakota that utilizes the Fargo VA is eligible to use a Fisher House, and that's where it has such a big impact.
So what is the Fisher House? What does it do exactly?
Essentially, it's a Ronald McDonald House for veterans families, where the veterans families usually stay and don't charge to them. Otherwise, it's sometimes cost prohibitive to bring down family members and feed them and put them in hotels and everything. Sure. So it's like very nice that we have that.
A family's veteran that has inpatient surgery, they'll house their spouse, house their children, and speaking all the others, they stay together until the surgery's over, they discharge them and go home.
So you're supporting the people that support our vets.
Sir.
That's awesome. And you guys, I've heard that you service Minnesota, like some counties.
18 counties in Minnesota and 1 in South Dakota. So it's kind of huge. This Fisher House will have the largest geographical footprint of any Fisher House.
And that geographical footprint is in the best Dakota?
Yes.
There you go. See that? Tom Travanon, Leon Francis, BlackBeardLogic. BB.
No name.
No name. Let's keep it like that. We'll see you right after the break.
This is Leon Francis with BlackBeardLogic on the Guns and the 701 Network. Stay tuned. Yeah, those guys are pretty cool. They are pretty cool. I would encourage anyone out there to go out. If you're in the Fargo Moorhead area, go out there. Even if you're not donating, I would encourage you to donate because these guys do a lot. They do a lot. Just check out Tom. Check out his social media. You'll see all the stuff that he's into, and they are BAMFs. All of them are. But they all loved Eli. All these bearded dudes. I mean, you saw them, and that wasn't even all of them. There were a ton of other folks. All these big guys and leather and beards and all of that, and they just thought Eli was a riot. So, and they're a motorcycle association, and they ride for veteran causes. So please check those guys out. Please support those guys because they are doing the Lord's work when it comes to veterans issues. And if you go out there, you can get cookies, coffee, that sort of thing, and you just give them a free will donation. You can also, and I threw this in the chat, I do not understand why it posted like 4 times in there. It normally doesn't do that, but I posted it in the chat, so you can go and check out Freeze Out for Fisher House. Just type that in your browser. It should take you right there. Go to the Support Fisher House ND website, check that out, or you can go to the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association page, and I did not put that in there, or just check out my page. I'll throw it on there also. And I would also, it being Black History Month, I wrote an article. I sent it to the forum. I don't know that they're going to post it, but I pinned it to the top of my page, and I'm giving what it is an article that I wrote a couple days ago, because it's Black History Month, and, every year we do this old song and dance about how far African Americans have come, and we celebrate Black History Month. I think you're going to find my take unique. Let's just say that. Let's just say it's a unique perspective that I have, and where I think we are, where I think we were, and where I think we're going, and where I think we need to go. That's crucial. That's critical. Me and Clay and Vance we talk about the Imago Dei a lot. Um, you'll see that in that article. So please go and check that out. Leave me a comment, leave me a like, and maybe the forum will run it. I don't know. I doubt it, but maybe. There you go. Leon Francis. I can't even speak. It's not even cold in here, so I can't blame it on the cold. But Leon Francis, Blackbeard Logic, it's been a blast chopping it up with you guys. It was a blast hanging out with the combat vets today. Freeze out for Fisher House. Charlene Nelson, awesome. See, when I think of building out a network, I think about people like Charlene. Charlene is incredibly smart, incredibly bright, and she has a mother wit about her that I find great. I find awesome, and I'm not kidding. When I have an issue that I can't wrap my brain around, I have a couple of people on speed dial. Charlene is one of them. So please visit her website. She has a wealth of information on there, and just check it out. Take the quiz, see where you're at, see where you want to go, and then tailor your daily activities or your mindset to whatever you need. And I equated it to building out a network because that's what I do. See where your network is. See where it's running great. See where it could use some tweaking. See where you want your network to grow, and then build out. Some folks like to build it out, have a large build out that they think will encompass every eventuality, and they have the money to do that, and that's what you got guys like me for. But some folks want to build out little by little by little. So however you want to do it, check out her website, and she has a plan for that. So again, Leon Francis, Blackbeard Logic, God bless you guys. Guns in the 701 Network, and I'm only 2 minutes over my time. So I'm counting that as a win. I'm going to go eat dinner. I'll see you guys next Friday right here, same time.